What's cracking, yo? Welcome back to Boo TV. Appreciate you for stopping in. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified, and let's get into the topic for today. Russell Westbrook had a phenomenal game. Now listen, I'm going to go in after we watch these highlights. I'm going to read the box score, we're going to watch the highlights, and I'm going to go in on a lot of people because I told y'all so. Russell Westbrook leading the Los Angeles Clippers without Paul George, without Kawhi Leonard, and put into a familiar situation where he has been most of his career as the leading dog. Scored 36 points on 13 for 18 shooting, 5 for 5 from three-point land, 5 for 9 from free throw land. Chipped in with 10 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 block shots, 2 turnovers. And outdueled Ja Morant, who had 36 points on 11 for 28 shooting, 2 for 9 from three-point land, connected on all 12 of his free throws, 4 rebounds, 9 assists, 3 steals, and oh my, Ja Morant had 8 turnovers. 8 turnovers. But I bet he won't get a low light reel. I bet he won't get bashed in the way Russ would get bashed if Russ had 8 turnovers tomorrow on the morning networks. But I digress. For now, let's look at these highlights and then talk about it.
Acceleration from the line to the lane, the drive and the dish. And they work it back over to Westbrook for the 3, and he knocks it in. So back-to-back threes for the Clippers. Only wants to take his man off the bounce, spinning. Westbrook for 3.
Oh, that was ugly, but it went in. That was an ugly bank shot.
Able to lock in defensively, then convert once on the offensive end. Another positive defensive play.
Clippers on that 9-0 run, all coming from three-point shots.
Good pass.
Lays it up and in.
Great pass.
Westbrook backs down on Morant into the paint and knocks it down. And Russell Westbrook with 8 first-quarter points for the Clippers. And both have had success with their teams. Kennard again leading the NBA in three-point shooting. Lob inside to Russ. Ball fake off the window and in.
Good move.
Because you got David
Textbook pump fake right there.
Jaren Jackson Jr., but also Steven Adams.
Good crossover.
Real-time game movement, and that's Russ.
Westbrook feeling good.
Oh, you know he's feeling good. Russ is pulling up threes. You know Russ feeling good.
Backing down on Tillman. They get over in the corner to Westbrook. Westbrook explodes down the baseline.
Oh, good pass.
But a flush. 6:44 to play in the first half. Clippers lead by 2. From the line to the lane to
good look.
Robert Covington for 3. It's good again. The second 3 for Covington. Morant went through that 8-game suspension, came off the bench. I think a lot of us probably thought it was conditioning and just getting his legs back as Westbrook attacks.
Banks, yep.
It off the glass.
That's one of his patented bank shots right there. He's been doing that his whole career.
They scored the first 5 points of the game, and then Memphis went on an 18-0 run, and then Russell Westbrook went wild. 20 for Westbrook.
I think also, too, if you think of Western Conference, can you name a team that hasn't had to deal with that maybe has an advantage of all 30 of his points, the 10 coming from the 3 was another player that did that previously.
Simple passes, man. Just running the offensive sets.
11 for Covington off the bench. Under a minute to play in a second quarter that the Clippers have been able to control. Can Gordon silence the crowd? He can, as the strings make an evil hiss. Clippers out in front by 9. Westbrook, man, open for 3, lets it fly, book it. 13.
Just knowing where his players are.
Westbrook 10 to shoot. Rises for the 3. Oh my goodness! 5 for 5 from above the arc. 25 for the Clippers. And the meter is still running. Off the window and in. 27 for Westbrook. Covington for 3 in the corner. Hasn't missed tonight. 29 for Brooks so far. Rises for the 3.
Off to the races. Push the tempo. Push the tempo. Push the tempo. There you go. There you go. They can't stop you. Push the tempo.
to the rim, off the window and in. Westbrook with 31. It's a timeout from Memphis. The Clippers out in front by 7. They've had opportunities with turnovers, have not been able to capitalize. Westbrook down the lane. He's done it again. 34 for Westbrook.
Morning Networks, I want you to go in on Morant for his poor shooting percentage and all his turnovers, like you guys did Russell with his tenure with the Lakers. Now, there's a lot I want to say. First of all, everybody capping and everybody that's been capping on this Russ BS, saying he's garbage, saying he's completely washed up, saying that he could never be a starter, he's just a bench player, he should be out the league. All this nonsense that's been going on the last 2 years, more heavily the first year with the Lakers. Stop all that cap. From day one, before Russ got traded to the Lakers, before Russ even got, before he played his first game, after he got traded, and before he played his first game, I said this, and this channel wasn't around at the time, but I said this to my peers. I said, dude, this is a bad fit. Relegating Russell Westbrook to a third option is detrimental to his game, and he's going to look very bad if they don't really put him in a position to succeed. If they literally go with this pecking order of LeBron James being the mandatory ball handler and Anthony Davis gets dibs next and Russ is just kind of float in, hitting open jump shots, you are not utilizing Russell Westbrook correctly, and it's going to be detrimental for him, and it's not going to be good for the team. I literally said this before. Everybody's like, no, you're wrong. Some people, and then even the people that said it wasn't a good fit were still bashing Russ as if he just fell off a cliff with his talent and his skill. And I had a problem with that too. And I said from the beginning, this is going to be bad. And I also said, my brother, he's a Russ fan, and he was getting hype. I was like, dude, it's going to be bad for Russ, and he's going to be the scapegoat. They're going to blame everything on him when this doesn't work out. This is a poorly constructed team. So then the season starts with the Lakers. And sure enough, everything I said was coming to fruition. Everything. And then all the Westbrook slander would not stop. And to this day, I was in his corner saying this is not his fault. We all knew who Russell Westbrook was. We all knew his skill set. What made you think pairing him with LeBron James, a player that is better than Russell, but does a lot of the same things, what makes you think having such a redundant type player would be useful? Okay, you wanted him for when LeBron James got injured, he could carry the load. But what about all the other times? What use are you going to make of him then? And I said, this is not going to work. We all know Russell Westbrook is not a spot-up shooter. We all know Russell Westbrook is not a three-point shooter. We all know Russell Westbrook isn't going to do much for you if the ball is not in his hands, allowing him to create. So what made you think this is going to be good? And now you're trying to call this man out his name like he's just garbage. There's a lot of players in this league that need to be in the right situation for them to flourish. Unfortunately, not everybody's Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, you can plop him on the team. He's going to make people better, and he's going to be efficient, and he's just going to fit within the flow of the offense, and the team is going to be better for it. Not everybody has that capability. Some do on varying levels, and some don't on varying levels. Russell Westbrook is one of those players where you have to build around him and specifically for him if you want to get the best out of him and fully tap into his potential and what he can offer you. And I said, when all this Lakers stuff was going on, I said, this could look better. Well, they were like, he needs to come off the bench. He needs to come off the bench. He needs to come off the bench. I said, what is coming off the bench really going to do as long as him and LeBron are still going to have major overlapping minutes? We know LeBron James is going to get a lot of minutes. So while he may come in and LeBron may go to the bench for a couple minutes, LeBron will be coming back in, and they still will be sharing minutes for quite some time. So the bench thing, I don't want to hear that. What needs to happen is LeBron James needs to come off the ball more. That just makes sense. LeBron James is better off ball than Russell Westbrook. LeBron James is a better shooter than Russell Westbrook. So let Russell Westbrook control the tempo, control the offense, put the ball in LeBron's hands, have LeBron James slash, cut, Russ feed him. Easy buckets at the paint. He's a better finisher than Russ in the paint. It just makes more sense. It just makes, in that whole first year, they did not do that. They would not let LeBron come off the ball significantly. And the results were what they were. Furthermore, this season, they did a better job at that. So coincidentally, when Russ went to the bench and he started looking better, coincidentally, LeBron James was coming off ball more. So that had more to do with it, with Russ's improved play, than him going to the bench. It was the fact that LeBron James was coming off ball more. Coach Ham made that adjustment this season, a couple weeks into it, because it started off bad. Now, remember, LeBron James had dealt with some injuries this season for an extended period of time. And the Lakers were flourishing with Russ and Anthony Davis. And Russ was really helping Anthony Davis shine at the same time with his penetration and his passing. He was finding AD, and Russ was playing fantastic while LeBron was out. Good enough. But I never got into this notion that he was just some scrub. Now listen to me. I'm going to continue to pop off. Listen to me. I don't want to hear nothing about the turnovers. I put out a video about this a while ago. During his tenure with the Lakers, where he'd been getting all this heat, Russell Westbrook was not the leader in turnovers, total turnovers in the entire league. Russell Westbrook was not the leader in turnovers per game. And he's not this year. But they never talk about those other players that have more turnovers total and per game than Russ. They never do. Apparently, Russell Westbrook is the only guy in the NBA that commits turnovers and are getting crucified for it. Apparently. You would think so. LeBron James just had 5 turnovers last game. There wasn't a blurb about that. Last game, not the one against the Bulls that they just lost. The game before that they lost. I don't remember who they played. It might have been the Bulls again. I can't remember. Whoever they just lost to recently. He had 5 turnovers. Not a blurb. Nobody mentions it. But at the same time, if I got a point guard that handles the ball a lot, yeah, they're going to have games where they have a lot of turnovers. That comes with the territory. Are people forgetting LeBron James is the all-time NBA leader in turnovers? That never gets mentioned, but I wouldn't mention it because I understand how ball-dominant LeBron is. So he's quite naturally going to have a lot of turnovers. And I wouldn't bring that up because I understand that. But for people that want to use turnovers, LeBron sexuals like to use turnovers against Russ and other people, well, look at your king. If you're going to use that criteria, apply it to you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't. But anyway, now I understand what Russ did tonight. 36 points, 13 for 18 shooting, 5 for 5 from three-point land. I understand the shooting is an outlier performance. I understand that's not the norm for Russ. I know Russ isn't going to come in on a game-to-game basis and hit even 40% of his three-pointers. I know that. And I know he's not going to go 13 for 18 from the field consistently. I know that. But what I'm trying to tell you is you can see how much more comfortable and how Russ looks like the Russ we used to know and love when he is put in his element to thrive. And without Paul George and without Kawhi Leonard, this is what you get if you put the ball in Russ's hand. You surround him with shooters, and you surround him with a decent pick and roll player like they had with Steven Adams, but OKC didn't even have the shooting that the Clippers got. And Russ is going to find people all game, and Russ is going to cause havoc in the paint, and Russ is going to be extremely vital to your team's success. If you put the ball in his hands, surround him with shooters and pick and roll players. He's no scrub. He is still a starter. He can still give you on a nightly basis 18 to 23 points with 10 assists and, 5 to 7 rebounds. He can still do that. Has his athleticism waned off? Absolutely. He's much older now. Is he a step slower every year? Absolutely. But you still see the guy still a firecracker and an Energizer Bunny, even with his diminished athleticism. He still got kick, and he's still going full throttle every possession like he always has. Russ can still take a bunch of cornball players to the bottom of the playoff seeding. I saw him do it in Washington, D.C. before he went over to the Lakers. There's no way you're going to tell me that he went from averaging a triple-double to just falling off the cliff with the Lakers. No, he was not put in a position to succeed. Now, credit to Tyronn Lue, because even when Russell Westbrook and Kawhi Leonard were on the floor with Russ in the small sample size that we have right now, Tyronn Lue was better utilizing Russ than the Lakers were, than Darvin Ham was. He was. Russ had a few really, really good games in his short stint with the Clippers so far, even when one or two of the other stars were on the floor with him. Tyronn Lue has done a much, much better job utilizing Russ, even when the other stars were on the floor with him. Regardless if the stats always showed it or not, if you watch the game, you would see he was better fit here on the Clippers. Listen to me, man. Cut this nonsense. Stop the cap, man. Stop the cap. Stop the disrespect. I will not have it. I will not have it. I will not. I will not. Like I said, of course he's not going to put up 30, 10, 5 or whatever every game. I know that. I know the shooting is an outlier. But you're going to get a much better version of Russ that is probably closer to what we were used to seeing in OKC than something that we were used to seeing in Los Angeles when Russ is allowed to be Russell Westbrook. Something closer to something in OKC, Washington, D.C., Houston Rockets, something closer to that than what you got with the Lakers, because now he is in an environment that's conducive to his skill set and situation. I need everybody to come back and apologize to me. Everybody. And I'm not overreacting to one game. I was just waiting for the game to pop up where he was the solo act and he had to lead the troops. And I finally got that game, and right on cue, I knew I would get something good. Now, I didn't think he'd go off for 36, 10, because I know he doesn't shoot this well normally. But I thought he'd give you something like 20 points, 10 assists, 8 rebounds. That's what I was betting on. So this is even better. But I know, obviously, come on, I know that isn't going to be the norm. Come on, man. Stop disrespecting this guy. And whether you question why he does what he does, whatever, the fact of the matter is he produces. And when he plays like this, it has usually been to the benefit of the team. It wasn't a triple-double, but his teams have a great record when Russ accomplishes a triple-double, not just a triple-double. It wasn't a triple-double, like I said, but this type of aggression, this type of leadership, finding his teammates, keep on pushing the momentum. And I'm sure he had a little extra pep in his step because he was going against Ja Morant, somebody that's compared to him at the point guard position given their athleticism, like Russ was in his younger days. So I'm sure when he sees that, these quick, fast, athletic point guards, he's like, let me show you something, young buck. Let me show you something. I know that. I'm sure he had a little extra pep in his step. Anyway, stop the cap. I need all these morning networks. I swear to God, if they don't give this man his due respect tomorrow on these networks, and not that they have to, but if you're going to make this guy, if you're only going to report on this man when he's having a bad game and not add context and understanding to the situation and act like this is the only guy that gets turnovers and makes light of them, if you're going to do that, you have to, on the opposite end, give him respect when he doesn't play like that. If you're going to make him the focal point of your butt and your jokes, you have to show up to work and talk about when he proves you wrong. And don't gloss. They'll come in. They'll gloss over it for like 30 seconds and then move on to the next topic. Nah, y'all fools be dedicating 5 to 10 minutes on them low light reels. So y'all need to dedicate that same amount of time. I know what's coming next. Oh, but boo. His numbers are slightly up with the Lakers this season. He averaged 15.9 points with the Lakers, 7.5 assists, 6.2 rebounds in 52 games. And in this small sample size of 16 games, the points are more or less the same, 15.3 compared to 15.9. The assists are exactly the same, 7.5. And the rebounds are down from 4.9 or from 6.2 to 4.9. Basically 5, down a rebound in a much smaller sample size. I don't want to hear it because if you watch the game, you would see that this is a much better version of Russell Westbrook, despite the numbers being more or less the same. A much better version of him, a more comfortable version of him, a better fit for him. The team is benefiting. The Clippers have won 8 of their last 11 games. 8 of their last 11. Russell Westbrook is shooting 49% from the field with the Clippers. 49%. 49% as opposed to 41 with the Lakers. And he was shooting 29% from three-point land with the Lakers and is shooting 32% with the Clippers. But forget the numbers. I'm telling you, he looks, you can look at him. You can watch the game and see that he's being utilized better. And his performance within the team shows it. Absolutely shows it. Anyway, that's all I got to say about it. Appreciate you guys. Let me know if you agree. Let me know if you disagree. I think I put everything about Russ well in the context, and I think the results speak for themselves when he's put in these positions. That's conducive to his skill set. All right? Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified, and I'll catch you on the next one. We out, baby.